Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of the Food Adventures channel. Today on this episode we're going to be eating three different plates of ramen at three drastically different prices and to determine which one is most worth it at its cost. Actually, no we're not, because I can't afford to spend $3,000 on a bowl of ramen, and unfortunately I am not one of the worth it boys, even though I really wish I was. But we are going to be judging ramen, but not $3,000 ramen. We're actually going to be judging two ramens at very similar prices. This is the bowl of Shin Ramen at 99 cents, and this is the bowl of savory soup Nongshim Lobster Ramen at $1.19. This one is 20 cents more expensive, but they're about the same price, so we're going to cook these, and we're going to see which one is the best tasting ramen out there. Of course, this is going to be my opinion, so yours might be different. But Nongshim Ramen, Shin Ramen, we'll see which one's better. Alright guys, we are back with both noodle soups. I have warmed them and with boiling water, and we're going to try the Nongshim noodle soup first. Smells good. This is lobster flavored, which actually might give it the edge over the competition. But there are many flavors of Nongshim noodle soup, and you got to consider the flavor. Now, the first thing for any noodle soup is you have to taste the broth. Good broth makes good noodle soup, so let's taste it. It's a salty soup, not exactly seafoody, but a decent mixture on your palate of noodle soup. Not the best flavor, but not a bad flavor of noodle soup. A little salty for my taste, but I think I might have put too much of that salt pack in it. And that's another tip for noodle soup lovers. For these small packets of noodle soup, don't put all the salt, the entire salt flavor packet in the soup. It makes it a little too salty. They don't quite pair enough with just the right amount of noodle soup. So the next, we'll taste the little flavor of fake imitation lobster meat and see how it tastes. Tastes okay. Not as good as real lobster meat, of course, but it tastes okay. Not really fresh. That definitely does not have that fresh seafood taste. All right, we're gonna eat the noodles now, and we'll see how they taste. It's still a little hot. It's a good texture. I like it a lot. It's definitely better than the Happy Chef noodles, but we'll see how it fares against the Shin Ramen noodles. And let's take another taste, because when testing food, you always have to take a second or third bite before you can get the true flavor of the noodles and enjoy the entire meal. Of course, I'm going to finish all of this later, but for the purpose of the video, just a couple of bites should be enough for me to judge. After taking noodles, you have to take another slurp of the soup, of the noodle soup, to actually get the full taste of the noodle soup. Still a little bit salty. I didn't even put the entire salt packet in, so I think if it was a little less salty, it would be a very, very good compliment. But even with the saltiness, it's not a bad compliment. You should just not drink all the soup because it is extremely salty, unless you like extremely salty foods. The noodles have a nice texture. They go down easily, and they taste actually pretty good. That one was excellent for a midnight snack. Now we have the spicy Shin Ramen. I've actually never really seen Shin Ramen in any other flavors, so that's that. This is the cheaper of the two at 99 cents. We have to take a drink of the broth first. There's probably too much, this is probably a little salty as well. It's actually, I put more of the salt packet in this one than the other one. It's actually not quite as salty. So the packaging on the Shin Ramen, the amount of salt per bucket of noodles is actually a little better than the Nongshim noodle soup. Now we will taste the mushroom filling. Not bad. Not as good as a freshly cooked mushroom, but definitely not bad. And there's a couple of these in here. Another sip of the noodle soup. This is actually, I think this tastes a little better than the Nongshim lobster soup. And now we have to taste the noodles. When I judge noodle soups, the noodles are half of it, and the soup is the other half. So you have to get a good taste of the broth first, which I think was a little better than the Nongshim soup. And then taste the noodles. They actually look very similar to the Nongshim soup, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were made of the same thing. But however, this does have the classic Shin taste. I do like it a little better than the Nongshim noodles over there. So I think I'm going to take another sip of the broth. And eat a couple of the noodles just to be sure of my overall review of this noodle soup. Tastes a little better than that one over there, definitely. Higher quality, I would say. So overall, between Shin Ramen and Nongshim noodle soup, the cheaper Shin Ramen by 20 cents actually tastes a little better than the Nongshim noodle soup. Although neither of them are really like extremely high quality noodles, I guess you could say they are the aristocracy of cheap cup noodles, because they do taste a lot better than that Happy Chef crap. But among these two, I would say the Shin Ramen tastes slightly better. Perhaps it's just I like the spicier taste, but I do think the amount of salt packet they paired with Nongshim is a little too salty, and the amount of the salt packet that they paired with the Shin Ramen per cup is a lot better in balance. I actually poured about the same amount of water into each of these, and I think there's almost the same amount of food. The Shin Ramen might have slightly more food, which would give it another edge. But overall, these are both good midnight snacks. But if I were me, I would definitely choose the Shin Ramen over the Nongshim noodle soup, although both of them are actually pretty tasty. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Happy ramen eating, and I will be back in a few days with another killer food video comparing two other things. If you want to see me compare other things, just random other things, let me know in the comments. Thank you and have a nice day, all.